Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Pteranodon Media Show and Tell What the Hell. And today we are going to briefly talk about the 35th anniversary Ninja Turtle Walmart. I guess it's a Walmart exclusive from Playmates box set containing the original comic book series Turtles. Now, this is a great set. Really, really, well, I'm saying great. But I will have some things to say about this just because, well, I got a few issues with it. And I have not opened it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna open it, but I did want to take a little bit of time to show you what the box looks like and what you're going to be getting inside. Um, right now, this goes for about $45, something like that. And that's the major problem that I have with this. It's the cost. Now, these, I guess, the average turtle toy will cost somewhere between $6 to $10, right? These are not super articulated. They do got some decent articulation, which I'm happy about. But I could show you some because these were released previously, but in the green and red color scheme. Now, these are the red bandana is an old thing, but this idea of getting the turtles all in white to look like the black and white comics, but then just giving them red bandanas is something that I started seeing somewhere in the mid 2000s. So they never really looked exactly like this from the comic. So I know I'm being a little bit of a nitpick here, but if you're going to celebrate 35 years and you're doing Playmates, I'm not necessarily sure this was the route to go with. Now, the box is pretty damn brilliant. It has a lot of pictures of the turtles throughout the ages. And now, they never looked like this. They just inserted it right there to say, oh, well, the turtles were in black and white. They had red bandanas. Maybe more recent, but they always looked like black, just straight up black and white. Or like the first cover of Ninja Turtles, they look like that. I would have liked a color scheme like that, with a little rooftop diorama or something. It's a little lazy in my opinion. And it shows you some more artwork there. Turtles throughout the years. Even shows you some of the Archie Comics turtles and some of the more recognizable Nickelodeon turtles. But here again, another picture of the turtles from the Mirage style, but they painted the band red. Now they all had red bands. I know that, but this originally was all black and white. Or if you're like me and had the first comics, the first collections paperback, they were colored in full color with red bandanas. Now, what does it say? 35 years ago, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman created and published a dark, edgy black and white comic called The Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The original Turtles all wore the same color bandana red. Their different signature weapons were the one thing that differentiated them from each other at the time. These figures celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in an exclusive black and white color version to commemorative comics, with the exception of the exclusive red detail on their bandana. So they do explain that on the top. I do like that they explain that a little bit to some of the kiddos that are going to be picking this up, because this is pretty much it is a 4 and up set. The price point is, however, not so good. I was planning to pick it up anyway. I do have the molds of these turtles, and I will show you right now what these molds look like. This came out some years ago. I was very excited to get these. I was not super happy about the tone of their turtle skin, but it was fine. What they did that was interesting is they put in a lot of these etching details where, to me, on these figures did not make a lot of sense. These, however, it does make sense, and they all kind of slightly differentiate on each one of the shells. You get a little bit more here, a little bit more here, a little bit less there and there. So that's pretty cool. Now, let's talk about how these figures would be if I were to open them. Now, they all come with pairs, which is good, except Donatello only comes with one bow staff. They don't have any places to put their weapons. Leonardo and Donatello do not have the shoulder straps. They were pretty lazy about that, and they did not add those in. There's no ankle articulation, but there is knee articulation with a knee swivel. So you can still get them into pretty dynamic little poses here. I'll show you. Let me go down a little bit. You can get them in these little nice poses. And the weapons don't stay well on their hands, so that's why I recommend getting these little, you can order on Amazon, these little clear plastic rubber bands that you could put on their weapons. I believe these, yeah. So he doesn't, the major problem I have is that there's no ankle articulation, wrist articulation. That's what's the one thing I wish that these figures have. And it looks like these don't have that as well. It looks like they really would have benefited from them. The original Turtles did have wrist articulation. So you're always going to be stuck with the same weapon pose on their hand, but you can move around their elbows. You can do that. And their shoulders and their heads are on a ball socket. But yeah, that's what these turtles look like. Now, NECA, years ago, had put out some more comic accurate turtles, and they also did this particular color scheme. These, however, are very articulated. Now, these are no longer in existence, but you could find some bootlegs online. I have, this is a bootleg right there. And I'd like to get some more. And if you want to go with something that's more comic accurate, you could probably find a good set of the Turtles online somewhere, the bootleg. But these aren't bad. I bought into these because they were about $10. They sold them all individually, which is weird and confusing, and I don't know how well they did. But the good thing about this is that when you get one turtle, I think perhaps what they should have done maybe is done one body and had 4 heads. I don't know. There's just so many ideas like that. I think maybe if this had cost like $25, they'd be flying off the shelves. I only did see one, however, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people are buying them. Do I think it's the right way for Playmates to be selling 35 years of Turtles? Not sure. I'll have to wait another 5 years and see if they come up with something better. But it's crazy to think that 35 years the Turtles have been around. I started collecting their comics, the Mirage comics, when I was a kid, and a lot of them are not around anymore because I was a kid and they didn't last long. I read them over and over and over again, but I'm not going to say that I hate this. I'm not going to say that I love it. I think it's a decent idea. I just think it's a little bit much as far as the price goes. Now, had this been, again, $25, I would have had 2. And opening one and keeping the other one in this nice little package here. I don't know. I may decide to open, but I know exactly what these figures are going to be like. You know, I would have liked an interesting variation. I would have liked to have something that really celebrated all the 35 years. I still haven't gotten a all-black Raphael, like in the Archie comics, you know. So something like that would have been cool as well. But anyway, folks, just wanted to show you what this box looks like. I'm gonna be happy. This is a great display piece. I will say, we want all the 4 turtles together. I guess it's a good way to do that if you have extra cash to spend. But it's harder and harder these days when you're, as a collector, if you're collecting stuff like Marvel Legends or Transformers like me. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to convince you to get something like this where you can get 2 awesome Marvel Legends with a lot of articulation. So it depends on what you want. If you're a really big fan of the Turtles, I say pick it up. If the Mirage Turtles. If you're not a big fan, like most fans are just more into this whole cartoon series era of Turtles, then it's a pass. But again, if I don't know, I would say if you're in your late 30s to mid 40s, you remember the old Mirage Turtles, these are going to be pretty cool. I wish I could, you know, if I'm trying to think of stuff that I could get to benefit from these, I don't know. It'd be nice to have something like a Splinter from the Turtle series. We never got that from Playmates. We never got the Shredder. So I don't know. I'm going to think it over and try to think of uses that I have or reasons to open this. Otherwise, it's going to stay in package. But, you know, still, I think Playmates didn't have to do it. They Absolutely didn't have to do it, but they did. You know, would have been actually pretty cool is if we got. Let's take one of these. Let's take a look at the original Turtles. This is just before I go. Now, the original Turtles, if you look at these were modeled after the comic books. These were comic book Turtles, but then they decided to individually color their bandanas because they knew they're going to be marketing them towards cartoons and more mainstream media. These were independent underground comics. So, but the original toys maintained the same designs, the same facial structures. What would have been a treat, what would have been actually awesome, is if they got the 4 original turtle molds, did the same color scheme, and then put them in a 4-pack and charged $25. Imagine that. That would have been nuts. I think that would have encompassed just a little bit about everything. You get the toys that represented the cartoon, but the designs that represented the comic. And yeah, I think that would have been a great update. In fact, I may just, if I ever find some extra ones, I may end up doing that myself, just for funsies. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed that. If you agree or disagree, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Till next time, folks, take care, and we'll see you later on.